What if Ichigo reincarnated as Rimuru's daughter? Bleach x Tensura Part 1. By Void King. Ichigo died, but gets reborn as the daughter of a demon lord. Chapter 1. Pain and Rebirth. Ichigo howled in pain as she collapsed when reuniting with her injured friends from that battle against Aizen. "Shit, this hurts," she gasped out. "Am I gonna die? Is this why Zenjutsu didn't want me to use it? What I wanted to protect was you." They knew, and for the sake of winning against Aizen, to protect Karakura town from him and keep him away from the Soul King, something had to be done. When Ichigo fought against Zenjutsu, she felt her bitterness, her hatred against what she protects, her loneliness. Zenjutsu hated the Shinigami for making her risk herself for them. Their problems were never hers to begin with, but since she and her family would be dragged into it, she made it her business. If so, why didn't Isshin do Mugetsu? Why have Ichigo do it? Was there question of anger? That was what she heard before she accepted the blade through her heart. "I'm losing my powers now, because I used it all up," she thought. "But I never dreamed it would hurt so much. This is so painful. It feels like my soul's being torn apart as I'm losing my powers." Confirmed, pain resistance acquired. Confirmed, spiritual attack resistance acquired. "I wonder if everyone's okay now that it's all over. I'm so tired," Ichigo thought as her body continued its throes of pain. "If I was born into a world where authorities actually do something, would Zenjutsu be happy? They hated the Shinigami for what they get me into. The only good thing about it in their opinion was I'm strong enough to live through that. If I reincarnate, it should be a world without everything they hate. Come to think of it, yeah, I'm stupid," Ichigo thought bitterly as her life flashed before her eyes. "Mom's death was because of me. By meeting Rukia, I got myself and my friends into all this. My name. I pretty much done goofed because I tried to live up to it. The battles they got into were not their problems to begin with." She realized that too late. She sorrowfully regretted what she got her friends into, but she can never say sorry now. Her death wouldn't be enough to make up for it all. "If only I was smarter and not hot-headed, none of this would have happened," she thought. "But because Dad's a Shinigami to begin with, I'll get dragged into it later anyway. Maybe when things got this shitty and by then it's too late anyway. Things would be a lot worse though," Ichigo thought as she imagined a possible future when at the time her father restored his powers, she would get stronger by influence later in life, making him decide to train her. It's inevitable she would become a Shinigami anyway, and all powers she has. The difference being she is not trained when Aizen goes God complex. She would die for sure. Confirmed, physical attack resistance acquired. Confirmed, magic sense acquired. Confirmed, steel strength acquired. Confirmed, magic aura acquired. Confirmed, ultra speed regeneration acquired. Confirmed, air flight acquired. Confirmed, magic bullet acquired. Confirmed, diamond path acquired. Confirmed, instant move acquired. Somewhere within them, as Ichigo was suffering her losses. "Oi, do you hear that?" Zenjutsu asked Old Man. They've been hearing a mechanically toneless woman's voice speak for quite some time now. "Someone out there is giving Ichigo skills based on her thoughts," said Old Man as they, being a part of Ichigo, could hear her thoughts. "She finally understood where we're getting at, but too late," said Zenjutsu bitterly. But in a way, she was right. Even if she didn't get involved months ago, Aizen still gets the Hagioku. Ichigo would still be dragged into war by force when she sees her father fight and hears our voices to give her power to fight. But even if she gets us, she has no training whatsoever. She would die. So in the end, no fucking difference, Zenjutsu spat in vexation. She still dies. "For now, let's make requests too. That voice seems to respond to Ichigo's wishes," Old Man urged. Zenjutsu made wishes too before Ichigo died. Confirmed, unique skill, Monk of Destruction acquired. Confirmed, unique skill, monstrous power acquired. It happened when Rimuru Tempest awoke from his evolutionary slumber, upon evolving into a demon lord. He had just greeted everyone as they knelt before him. But it's not over for him yet. A pulse of power burst from within him. Yuahe. Rimuru-sama. Shin gasped out as Rimuru became his human form and seemed to be in pain, clutching his stomach. Rimuru-sama, what's wrong? Now everyone panicked worriedly. What on earth can affect him now? Great Sage, what's going on? Rimuru wheezed as he felt really sick and pain in the stomach. He was a train wreck of all pregnancy symptoms. Any mother in the world would pity him. Notice, a reincarnator from the same world is being reborn as your child. You're pregnant with her now. What? Pregnant? How? He never kissed nor dated anyone nor did anything like that with anybody. What the fuck? Alert, development is at a high-speed rate. Labor will be in 10 seconds. Raphael also took action, informing the newcomer on what she needs to know. As Raphael spoke as Rimuru was unaware his skill evolved, he howled in pain as his stomach grew bigger, tearing his shirt up that his bulging stomach separated from him into what looks like a jelly egg, leaving him exhausted. Rimurusyame. Did he just lay an egg? Gulped Stamoram shakily. Yes, he did just that, they all thought, shell-shocked at what they just witnessed. That can't be, slimes are genderless, Ellen cried. He has no parts, he just identifies as boy for convenience. Well, we tend to do that, said Noir as he diagnosed Rimuru with his magic. Master is okay, but his power led him to conceive his own offspring. But such an instantaneous, hyperspeed pregnancy took a toll on him, not to mention it was out of his control. He didn't see this coming, he said. There's a reason females take time in pregnancy. The pregnancy symptoms are terrible for all women, he told them. And he had what's supposed to be a year in a span of seconds, so. His pregnancy symptoms are 100 times worse, as what should have been experienced in several months got compressed, making things worse for him. Is he all right now? Does he need a potion? Vesta asked him, already a potion in hand. None, he has no physical ails and this is something potions cannot cure. Noir shook his head. Rimuru isn't injured, just exhausted and extremely nauseous. He fainted. Gee guys, the baby, Grucius cried as they could now see an infant silhouette in the egg. That's growing a tad too fast. They waited nervously as the baby went from child to adolescent to adult, before the slime egg melted and the child that turned out to be a daughter is unconscious. She has the same milky fair skin as her father as well as the silvery blue hair, curled up like an infant in the womb. Shuna quickly took off her outer robe and covered the daughter in it. And now what? We put them to bed, duh. Thus Tempest got anxious again. Dworgen. What did you say? King Gazel howled as Vesta contacted him about the incident. Rimuru gave birth after waking up. Becoming a demon lord aside to avenge and revive the slain. There was this too. Yes, everyone is deeply concerned as he was pregnant and gave labor without warning in a matter of seconds. The unknown Majin who was here said so. And to everyone's knowledge, Rimuru-sama has no partner as he was a male-identifying genderless slime to begin with. We have no idea how he got pregnant to begin with. We put parent and child in bed now. Vesta stammered out. I'm paying a visit. Yes, sire, we shall get a room ready. Chapter 2, Demonology Lessons and Ichigo's Lessons. And so, the men were on overprotective mode around Rimuru's house, while the ladies gave them their meals time to time. It was decided that as a precaution, the two be in their room alone to avoid imprinting on the wrong person, as Vesta worried that the daughter may imprint on first thing she sees upon waking. They lack knowledge about slimes, so this was crucial. They have to avoid looking inside the room and avoid that one window or else. Unlike her father, the daughter actually needed to be properly dressed. Daughter woke up and looked around. It was an empty room with two futons put together side by side. She looked to her left to see a blue-haired young girl, but she knew better. As she got here, a mechanized computer female voice spoke to her while showing images in her brain on who this person is and all about him. Rimuru Tempest, her new father. And she was dressed in a hospital gown, but thankfully with underwear. Weirdly enough, her father is smaller than she is, appearing like a middle schooler while she retained her high school figure and height. But her face changed to resemble him to be his child. She shook him awake, making him stir. MMM. He opened his eyes to see what's basically a female version of himself face to face with him. She has deep blue eyes. Who? Your daughter. You're my daughter, right? Rimuru croaked out, standing up. Do you have a name? Ichigo, said Ichigo. I died and I ended up being your kid, she said. This is a little weird, she said, scratching her head. You're telling me I now know how a seahorse feels. Rimuru chuckled with a cringe, as that's exactly how he gave birth with some physiological difference. I'm a guy who gave birth, he said weakly. Raphael-san told me all about you, and I wouldn't wish what you put up with on anyone. No child has to go through it, he told her, patting her head. That's why, live a normal life here. Everyone here is here, he told her kindly. Adults should be relied on, and you can count on us. That notion was strange to Ichigo. Sure, her own dad did his job as a parent. The issue was Sarite and circumstances against everyone. The main issue was Aizen and his goddamn marble of doom. The rest of happenings was their entire fault for being so rigid, inflexible, and a black and white way of thinking that what they caused by their decisions is biting them back in the ass. If only I had that sooner, Ichigo bitterly wept, and Rimuru hugged the war veteran before him who has a shit ton of war PTSDs on her, all at age 15. Well, let's announce ourselves. I'll have to name you officially when I get better, so pretend to be nameless for now, all right? Fine. Ichigo got all she needed to know while she developed. After all, she'll have to deal with her new world. When Rimuru used thought communication to contact everyone, the men barged into the room worriedly. Rimuru-sama, is everything okay with Missy? Benimaru asked Rimuru worriedly, as when they looked at the daughter, she was blue-eyed and much more feminine, an older version of her father. She also has longer hair than he did. Same fringe style, but her hair was down to her waist. She was also clearly powerful and has poor control over her magicules. She's okay, Rimuru smiled. No name for now, though. I'm too weak to name anyone for now. I should rest more and teach her how to control herself. She's begun leaking magical energy. I guess I have to learn how to be a dad first. Dad, not father. It's something Ichigo needs more, Rimuru thought. Dads are fun-loving and always there, while fathers are too distant. Ichigo had to deal with the secrecy going on, as when Rimuru recovers enough, he can give her a name and be officially introduced to everybody. So for now, only his executives know of her awake with him. Are you okay, Rimuru-sama? Shen asked him. Yeah, just a bit woozy for now, said Rimuru as he had arrived with a shaky, unstable gait. Ichigo helped him. I'll probably be okay enough to name my daughter in 2 more days, he said weakly. Ichigo greeted slowly. She was awkward, as she's now technically royalty given who her new dad is, that everyone's waiting on her hand and foot. She wasn't used to this. That, and her voice changed too. What's this cutesy shit she's got now? So cute. Ichigo got startled and went slime mode. Her slime form was similar to Rimuru's, only hers has pink blush stickers. Now, don't overwhelm the kid. Hakuryu chuckled, gently chiding Shuna and Shun. She's still getting used to us, he said as Ichigo changed back to human and was looking at all of them, familiarizing herself with them. Still clad in a sleeping gown Shuna gave her and barefoot. Rimuru-sama is eager to be a good father, but what of her education? He asked Rimuru. As your princess, people will aim for her to get to you. That is out of the question. There's that. And also, no swearing around my kid or you'll eat Shen's cooking for 6 months. Rimuru threatened with malice that got almost everybody choking in fear of the idea while Shen looked dismayed. To Ichigo, that's warning enough. Yup, avoid the woman's cooking. But really, while she knows he's trying to be a good dad, she swore enough in fights. Why is that a threat? I don't understand. Noir wondered, and Rimuru wondered why he was still here. Wasn't their deal paid? Let's just say it's so bad you're forced to develop poison resistance or die. Benimaru whispered in the man's ears. Noir twitched. Surely no one can be that bad at cooking enough it's likened to poison. So bad it develops a resistance or die. And this fair Oni clearly speaks from experience. As for my daughter's education, after consulting my wisdom king, she has her own skills at birth. So we'll have to figure how to help her master them. Rimuru continued. Being a slime like myself, she's a quick learner, so language, math and other general subjects should be a breeze, giving plenty of time for combat training. Now then, he looked at Noir. Is there something regarding our contract? He asked in concern. Weren't those corpses enough? Contract? Everyone thought as they looked at Noir incredulously. Does that mean this guy is? Oh, no, I made my decision. Noir quickly made a hand wave of reassurance before he knelt before Rimuru. I have decided to stay for Rimuru-sama. This astonished Rimuru. Really? He gasped out. Well, I'm not a typical demon lord, okay? I don't even know how to behave like they do, so I'll just simply be myself here. How do you believe they behave, though? Shuna wondered curiously. Rimuru spouted out many tropes in what he believes demon lords are like. I'm not like those, okay? They all had a very hard time imagining a Rimuru like those, that they were glad that the Rimuru they know is the benevolent master they all know, and they pity the others who serve such people. Milim is just the weird one and Carrion is shockingly nice, so I'll wait and see about the others, said Rimuru. We're lucky to have a master like Rimuru-sama, so he's a demon lord we'd gladly work for, said Benimaru. Well, at any rate, welcome, Rimuru smiled. You'll have to wait for a name, though. Childbirth in a span of 20 seconds isn't easy. That and a large chunk of his currently recovering strength went to Ichigo that she exceeds Shin in magicule content. Out of all his executives, Shin has the most energy. And now, Ichigo dwarfed even her that she's the strongest, befitting her status as Princess of Tempest in everyone's eyes. Of course, my lord, this one is already blessed enough for your acknowledgement. Noir smiled, and he was sincere about it. Contract between you and Rimuru-sama. You're a demon, aren't you? Sao stated. Kyufufufu, indeed so. I am an archdemon. The council choked, while Rimuru was clueless on why they're making a big deal out of it. As expected of Rimuru-sama, he can summon ones of your level, Shuna gasped out in shock. Archdemons are the most powerful of their lot, not to mention what it takes to summon them. Demons of your level are rare and with good reason at that. You're the strongest of your class, Hakuryu croaked out. Now that was a surprise to the reincarnators. Well, I have hit a cap since we have rules in our realm, said Noir. My level may be a rarity as nobody I know ever became a demon noble. Guys, explain. Until I had my daughter, I'm the youngest in this city, being 2 years old, Rimuru sweat dropped. I don't have the common sense you do. Awkward pause. You're that young. We didn't know. We're sorry. Ichigo sweat dropped at the ridiculousness before her. Allow me. Noir chimed enthusiastically as comical reaction ensued. He had to clap his hands loudly to shut the others up before he explained how his kind works. Demons are genderless monsters that are spiritual life forms similar to spirits or angels. They do not have a body normally, as they exist in the spiritual world where they mostly wander aimlessly around. By default, most of the demons do not have names or any sort sense of self. There are a few exceptions, which include those that have developed an ego after being summoned several times, and having contact with the material world, enough that they can freely choose what they want to be. Within the spirit world, demons gain strength and prestige almost entirely by age. The older a demon, the stronger it is. However, it takes a long time to get truly strong within the spirit world, since demons are bound by a magicule limit that forces them to polish their proficiency and efficiency instead. Within the material world, as long as a body to possess is available, additional options to get stronger open up for demons. Demons can be summoned from the spirit world to the material world. Demons are usually serious and respect contracts, though that might also depend on which color line they belong to. Once in the material world, first an ego arises. Each summoner provides more information to the demon, allowing them to become more proficient and knowledgeable with each summoning. However, a demon needs a body to stay in the material world, as otherwise, the material world will reject the demon, forcing them back to the spirit world. So Rimuru-sama offering me 20,000 bodies of enemies he's slain, I was able to fashion a body for myself to fulfill our contract, he said. It wasn't easy though. All those bodies have some hereditary disease. I have to be very picky with construction material to avoid being impeded by defects. As for levels, the demons gain stronger power as they live longer. Demons who have reached a certain level reach the upper limit of the amount of possessed magicules, eventually making them numerically equivalent in terms of raw power. Knowledge and experience are the things that matter from there. In other words, the difference in proficiency becomes the difference in combat ability. Noir being over 10,000 years old, he's an archdemon class primordial due to his age, but he was way stronger than a typical archdemon. But he's hit his level cap that it's a long wait before he becomes a noble. As for lineages, they are based on colors. Us ancient primordials have descendants, black from myself, red, blue, green, yellow, white, and purple. Demons afterwards become our descendants upon reaching a certain threshold of power. Demons are assigned a color that matches one of the primordials based on their personality. All demons of a certain color share the basic personality traits of their progenitor, and while they might express these traits in different ways, their demeanor and mindset are always a match for their progenitor. So Rimuru-sama, when summoning, it's a random deal that when summoning, watch out for the color of the aura that comes out, Noir warned. Blacks like myself and purple are whimsical as we do what we want to do and stick to it. That includes interpreting our own way vaguely given orders as long as we can do the job perfectly, he said as his words got Rimuru inwardly twitching. Well, his first order isn't vague, thankfully, but he'll have to carefully word his instructions from now on. Red and yellow are unnegotiable. That to be on the safe side, make sure you can pay based on the level of what you summoned, and your request as getting shorted will get anyone killed. The negotiable ones are blue, green, and white as I've known them. And you're a black who decided to throw his lot with me, said Rimuru. Noir nodded. For some odd reason this guy threw himself to him on his whims alone, so he'll have to be careful with this guy. Very well. I have tasks for everyone soon, but let's keep it quiet that he's an archdemon lest our human allies start pointlessly panicking. He told everyone. We need a cool head for what's coming as things aren't over yet, he said grimly. Now then, regarding my daughter's lessons, let's start with her skills, said Rimuru. Through my food chain, her skills were added to my abilities to access. Her unique skills are Monk of Destruction and Monstrous Power, he began. With Monk of Destruction, this skill is lethal as she can easily wield Spiritron, the energy used in holy magic as well as magicules, and make constructs of energy to wield in battle. As such, she has appropriate nullifications, he told them. As for Monstrous Power, well, she becomes a being of instinct while gaining bony armor plating. A berserker warrior that fights instinctively while gaining bony armor plating on her person and gaining immense physical strength from it. The only way for it to stop functioning upon activation is if she's defeated or her enemy is killed. She can't willingly turn it off, so it's a last resort if things get dicey. There was one more aspect to it that Rimuru will never reveal. Monstrous power is the embodiment of Ichigo's hollow feed Zangetsu if Monk of Destruction embodied the old man. Ichigo has two spirits in her, upper-tier spirits, no longer Zanpakuto, so they'll have to talk to Ramirez about them at some point. Zangetsu will take over. She also has arts and a few extra skills. She'll have to watch us fight so she gets an idea before she spars with any of you, said Rimuru. Let's start things slow, make her watch so she'll learn. Let's start with hand-to-hand. Black, make a clone of yourself and spar outside for her to watch. Slow at first, slow enough for humans, and increase till she gets the idea. All of us are swordsmen and magic users, so we're not too good with that, he instructed. Let's all go outside. And so, outside the government building, the two noirs began sparring as they all watched. This was mostly for Ichigo's benefit, but the two reincarnators have to play pretend. Once at a good enough speed enough to amaze everyone. It was a speed Ichigo can see considering who she fights on a random Tuesday. Missy, did you see all that? Benimaru asked Ichigo, who nodded. Then spar with Black, Rimuru instructed. I want to see how much you've learned. Inside, however, he was relying on Raphael to keep his face poker face because on his own, he was trying not to snicker. Ichigo obeyed, skipping to where Black is. Please go all out, princess, so we can measure what you've learned. Noir instructed, and she did. Shunpo in front of him, and he quickly caught her. High-speed sparring ensued. He was impressed. Just by watching, she can do this already. He was amazed and elated. On the other hand, several jaws dropped with eyes popping out. So, for her training, all she needs is to watch us to catch up to us in skill. Sao croaked out in shock. Next, Hakuryu and Benimaru, sword sparring. Rimuru instructed as Noir and Ichigo went to the sidelines to watch. They had to go slow before going all out. After that, Benimaru lent his sword to Ichigo. As Hakuryu was the best swordsman in Tempest, Rimuru still loses to him. Again, she was formidable. Yeah, watching his training, Rimuru's sweat dropped. Enough said. She fought insane god complex sickos. Of course she'd be this good. All that's left is school subjects now, Shuna said weakly. Yeah,